Hello, I'm Kimberly Miller, and I work for LinkedIn. I lead our search and staffing business, and I'm here in San Francisco with John Nurthen, the Executive Director of Global Research for SIA. John, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Wonderful. 25 years of experience and a resource of so much information. What's the one thing that's not on your LinkedIn profile?
I guess one thing that surprises people is that I designed my wife's wedding dress.
That is wonderful. I'd love to see a picture at some point.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what your job entails at SIA as Executive Director?
Sure. So it's my privilege to lead our research team. So we have a team of people in California, also in London, and we use some freelance resources globally as well. So we are providing research for senior staffing executives on all aspects of the market, legal changes, developments in technology, any future trends in the market, anything that a senior executive would be interested in knowing about the staffing industry.
Our clients are telling us that the skills shortage is keeping them up at night. I imagine that you're seeing the same thing in your research at SIA. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we produce an annual report where we research staffing executives, and we ask them exactly that. What is your biggest concern? And talent shortages are easily the number one concern. More than 50% say that that's their primary concern.
Are you seeing anything specific in your research that would give us indication about industry, specific skill types, or geography?
Skill types is really across the board. I mean, you ask any staffing firm in any sector, do you have skill shortages? They'd say yes. If you look at geographies, actually the US isn't too bad. There are countries with a much worse demographic deficit, countries like Japan, Germany, Southern Europe in particular. So there are certainly regions that are struggling more, and looking at the predictions for the future, the expectation is those markets are going to get a lot worse. So staffing firms are going to have to get a lot more canny in the way that they're able to source talent.
What we're seeing with a lot of our clients today is that they're developing these massive training programs to reskill their workforce. Are you also seeing that at SIA?
Yeah, so again, from our staffing survey, we can see that 50% of staffing firms have some sort of training and development in place for their temporary workers. 13% are actually now providing a full day's paid training for temporary workers. And at the sharp end of the IT market, there are companies like Reviture that, as part of their model, are providing an IT boot camp. Large staffing firms like Adecco have invested in General Assembly, a huge investment in training and development last year. Companies like Kelly have partnerships in this area as well. So I think over the next 3 or 4 years, training and development is going to be one of the key trends in the industry.
So let's talk about retention. Obviously, that's top of mind for our clients as well. What are you seeing? Yeah,
well, again, what we're seeing is that staffing firms are having to pay much more attention to it. It's difficult enough to source candidates, but once you've got them, you need to try hard to make sure you keep them. And one way that you can do that is by offering competitive benefits. And we've seen benefits increase since 2009. We've seen a big pickup since 2014. And what we've also seen, an interesting development, is it's not just staffing firms, it's forward-thinking clients such as Google, who have mandated that their contingent workers, independent contractors, temporary workers receive good benefits packages and are paid a minimum wage as well.
Investing in technology. Let's talk about that for a second. What are you seeing as an industry trend?
Yeah, so the great thing is, despite the skill shortages that we're seeing, staffing companies have access to new tools, new technology, advances in artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data, means that staffing firms are able to do things more efficiently and perhaps less expensively as well. So we actually monitor M&A, and in the past it used to be staffing companies acquiring other staffing companies. Since 2009 we've seen 200 acquisitions by staffing firms of non-staffing businesses. They've been investing in complementary businesses, and a lot of that has been talent acquisition technology. It's things like chatbots, it's things like online staffing platforms, which are nice complementary businesses for their main staffing business.
So we've talked a little bit about retention, investing in technology, and learning and development. What would be one last piece of advice that you would have for executives in the staffing industry?
Yeah, so it may sound obvious, but you have to be the best staffing company you can possibly be. That's the only way you're going to be able to outperform your competitors. I would have to say, use companies like LinkedIn, use companies like Staffing Industry Analyst. But seriously, it's important that you need to keep on top of these trends, because with the experience that I have, I can honestly say that the pace of change is accelerating at the moment. It's always been an interesting industry because things have always changed, but staffing firms are having to deal with so much change at the moment. So that would be my key advice, I think.
Wonderful advice. Thank you for sharing so much insight with us today.
It's a pleasure.